Hi, welcome to this video. This one is actually quite an unusual one because many schools will experience mock exams at some stage, and one of the things that we actually do at the school that I am currently at is we have this day called Brown Envelope Day. And Brown Envelope Day is basically a mock results day, and what we do is we present the results to the students, and hopefully if you are opening up your mock exam results, you will have some really good results and positive ones, and it's really important to know the advice and support that is out there if your results for any particular examination is not quite what you expected it or need it to be. The main thing to remember at all times is that the help and support is there. The teachers that have marked the results, your teachers at school, your form tutors, your pastoral leaders, all of them are really keen to make sure that you are going to succeed, and there's plenty of time. There is literally plenty of time. So relax, just try and overcome the hurdle that you are facing at this moment in time. I know it's very fresh, and it's very raw, the receiving the results right now, but give it a little bit of time, a couple of hours, maybe a day or so, and try to relax, go for a walk, just reflect, and then think, right, what strategy can I follow in order to improve it? So today is quite a unique day, and one of the things that I did this week was I asked my Year 11 form to come up with some questions that I could perhaps answer in a video. And so basically what I'm going to do, I haven't even seen the questions at all, so I haven't prepared myself or anything. So the questions that I read out will be read out at the same time as you find out right now. And I wanted to give, just basically a set of answers for you to think about. So the first question, are our grade boundaries for mocks similar to the grade boundaries for our GCSEs? Okay, so yes, the answer is that your teachers will have chosen your exams, and perhaps you didn't finish the syllabus, the specification, so they may have swapped out one or two questions. But it is in their best interest to make sure that the grade boundaries actually do match, if not are close to where they expect them to be. Now, we still have COVID-19 pandemic in our rear view mirror, so during the course of the pandemic, it is true that the grade boundaries were lowered for those years. So we are expecting to return back. It is 2023 now, so we're expecting our grade boundaries to return back to where they were. So you may have a slight lowering of grade boundaries for your mock exams, but that's to reflect perhaps the times that we have been through. But the grade boundaries, I reckon, for sure. The subject that I've chosen, the one that I have in mind, which is chemistry, you'd kind of need to maybe add 3 or 4 marks overall to match where we estimate your grade boundaries to be. Okay, right. Are the grade boundaries higher or lower than the actual IGCSE grade boundaries? So for this year, I have chosen slightly lower, just slightly lower. We're talking about 3 to 5 marks. And the reason why, and that's out of 200, the reason why is because there is going to be a natural improvement that will take place, the work that you put in between now and your real exams. Our students here have it in May. The natural improvement will take you to that grade boundary that I anticipate. So for me, certainly, and I know that other departments in my school have chosen the grade boundaries are just a tiny bit. So the natural instinct, I think, is when you get your paper, you'll be like, oh, I'm just 1 mark away from the next grade. It's going to make a big difference, and you tend to really try and squeeze as much as possible. It's only really, I think, with mocks, if you find yourself in a situation where you're maybe 5 marks away from the next grade boundaries, talk to your teacher and find out whether you could have actually on the day gotten those marks. That would make a difference, but it would only take you a little bit. I would reckon maybe a 10 to 15 mark UMS. UMS is basically with all of the marks added together in the paper, and all the papers are weighted in different ways. So talk to your teacher about how your marks are allocated, but I would suggest maybe 10 marks above, or 10 mark increase will cause a grade boundary to change. What's the purpose of marks? Is the next question. What's the purpose of marks? The purpose of marks really is twofold. Number one is to mainly give you an idea where your weaknesses are. So you may think, oh, I know my weaknesses. I know what I'm weak at. I know what I'm strong at. But what's really, really important as well is for you to understand how strong you are or how weak you are. So that's one of the main purposes. And the other main purpose as well is to let your teachers know that you are on track, and to give us to raise any red flags. If you are way off target, then and you need additional support, then that is pretty much the purpose of marks. It will allow you to get the help and support that you need. The next question: is 2 mocks studying enough? So is 2 months of studying enough? I would say yes, and I would say no. If 2 months is part of a 3-month program, then I would say yes. That sounds a little bit funny, but 2 months of revision, followed by a roughly maybe 3 or 4 week period where you are intensely focused on past papers and thinking about your past paper technique, I think would be perfect. So aim to finish your new batch of revision roughly between 8 to 10 weeks from where you are right now. Today is January the 31st. So January the 31st is definitely where I would recommend your new round of revision begins. And then slowly but surely wean yourself off that. The only thing that you should then have at that stage is maybe a batch of flashcards, personalized to what you need to remember, and in addition to that, past paper questions, the answers, and if you really can get into them, the examiner's reports as well. Next question: are mock exams purposely made more difficult than the actual exam? This is actually a really good question. Inevitably, there will be like a human element to it. Your mock exams, if they were not a complete set of a complete series of questions of question papers that were set for that particular year, your teacher will have picked and chosen the questions. The temptation, I would think, as a teacher, is to try and challenge you with the trickiest questions possible. So it is true to say that mock exams could be more difficult. It's definitely something that you would have to ask your teacher. But if they have been made more difficult, then there's good purpose behind it. And perhaps your teacher really wants you to be prepared for all eventualities. Can we still get the results if we miss Brown Envelope Day? I think that's probably a localized question, so of course we will be able to give the results. But how are mock exams formulated? Well, we have a batch of papers. All teachers have batch papers. Some of them are released on the internet. Some of them are behind secure websites, and we effectively just pick the questions based on what we feel you've covered and would be fair to test you on, and we count the number of marks to make sure that the number of marks matches the time. If we've shortened the time, then we change the number of questions accordingly. We try and make sure that we have good spread of 2 things. Number 1, good spread of topics, and number 2, good spread of the skills that you are expected to demonstrate. So part of your exams could be, for example, testing your knowledge. Part of it could be application. Part of it could be, if it's something like chemistry, practical element as well. How are the grade boundaries of the mock set? Well, usually that's happening within the teams themselves. So teams of teachers, departments will actually get together and agree to make sure that they're not too far off where we would expect them to be. Grade boundaries are advertised publicly. They're very much available on the internet, and all you need to do is just basically do a little bit of maths. I have a lovely spreadsheet that shows me not only grade boundaries, but how far away a student is in a particular paper for a particular set of topics. If they need to work on one, then they can do it. When will we get our mock exam results? Today. Right, when will we receive our GCSE results? Okay, so that's something that's down to the exam boards. So as soon as your school knows, we usually write a letter to you to tell you when it is, but it's usually one of the weeks in August, a couple of months afterwards, after you've sat the last exam. Can we get new exam study planners? Okay, I'll speak to that person. Good way of memorizing all chemical formulas for IGCSE. So this is one in particular. So what I've done is I've actually scanned through, for my class, I've scanned through all of the formulas that, and all of the chemical names that you need to know the formulas for, and I put them on a flashcard. So perhaps ask your teacher, if you're watching this on the internet, to help you with that, to go through the syllabus with you, maybe highlight, and maybe offer to come up with the formulas. That would be a good way of helping others as well. Why do people get so nervous over marks? I think it's natural. I think it's natural for us humans to get nervous over mocks. Sometimes it's our first time we actually taking very, very official exams. So it is absolutely perfectly normal. It's perfectly normal, something that everyone says that they care about, and there's pressure from outside, there's pressure of ambition, there's pressure of aspiration, pressure from parents. But at the end of the day, we're all there, and you've got to believe in yourself as well. So why do people get so nervous over mocks, since they're only practice? They are only practice, but they're the best practice that you can actually get. There's nothing really that can simulate the experience of exams, of being in a room where everyone else is just doing the exams, and it's very, very odd. It's different to maybe being in your study room at home, just doing a past paper. The atmosphere is different, so it's a great simulation. Best way to study after mocks. Okay, that's a really, really good one. I'm a great advocate of things like flashcards. So set yourself up with flashcards. I think one of the videos that I'll be making very, very soon will help with that. So I think maybe I can go through some flashcards. Basically, what you have to do is that, in terms of learning techniques that have been proven to be the most efficient, the high utility ones are things like practice testing, where you use practice tests to review information, and distributed practice is what we call spreading out your study sessions over time. So having a revision timetable is really, really important. And moderate utility ones are elaborative interrogation, where you go through your notes and you're actually making questions. So at this moment in time, I've got my sixth form and my year 11s, for example, to have an exercise book, and they fold it in the middle, and on one side, rather than just write sentences or diagrams or anything like that, they just write a question, and then on the other side they have the answer, so they can just fold it, test themselves very, very quickly. They don't have to rewrite anything. Other ones that are really, really effective are self-explanation. So generating reasons to explain new information is very, very effective, and what we call in the business interleaved practice. So interleaved practice is where you actually try out different types of problems when you practice. So it's not just all multiple choice. Why do mocks exist? To figure out where you are and where you need to be. Here we go. We got 4 more questions. How do I improve from my mock grade to get my ideal grade? The main thing that you need to do is you need to talk to your teachers. You need to talk to your teachers and get the advice and support. They have been teaching for many, many years. They've seen many, many students through their class, and they are the experts. They are the experts. You need to go to the experts, and you need to talk to them. Even more expert than perhaps teachers appearing on YouTube giving you random bits of information. Yeah, okay. So talk to your teachers. What's the worst way of studying? Worst way of studying, thinking, do you know what? I didn't work for it right now. I don't really care about the results, and what I'm going to do is I'm not going to worry about it because everything will be all right on the day. That's basically it. How do I take advantage of my mock results? Okay, how do I take advantage of my mock results? Talk to your teachers about where your target grades are. Your target grades are set for a specific reason. They're set because it's within like your statistical limitations, your top end and your bottom. So you should really know what your target grades are. However, having said that, if you are after a grade that's higher than that, then you are going to have to work a little bit harder for it. So talk to your teachers about and set up a meeting with them to take you through what to do with the mock results, and find out where your strength is and where your weakness is. Perhaps, for example, you're trying to focus and concentrate too much on memorizing facts, whereas if you apply yourself to a different style of questions, you'll actually start to get more marks in an area that you historically are not getting marks, like, for example, applying your knowledge to new situations. How do I start making my revision timetable? That sounds like a brilliant idea for another video, so I'm going to try and get that done. And that's my last question. That was my last question. I can't believe it. I feel so happy about that. I've answered all of the questions in roughly 60 minutes. I've got my students chomping into bits to try and get in, so I'm going to upload this and I'm going to get the answers out there right now. You take care, and please leave some comments in the comment section. My time is up. Look after yourselves. How to make flashcards, how to make a revision timetable. That's my next mission. Take care. Bye.